So we're looking at the alternating rough, right? And I have you at 132. Go ahead and play it at 132 for me. What I'm saying, it's not very fast. No. It's really just up and down. So what I'm asking is about your awareness. You're experiencing the feeling of openness on the way up, and then the closure that occurs on the way down with this stroke, right? And you hadn't really considered that, which is okay. You know, sometimes it's better not to know and just do it right. But at a certain point, it's helpful to really recognize exactly what's going on. Not that you have to, you know, not every great player is a great teacher. That's not their thing, right? They're just incredible, and they might not know what they're doing or might not have considered how to discuss it. But it can be very helpful, right? And so when you go to make that up, there is that feeling of openness. Go ahead and feel that. See? Isn't that funny? As soon as you go to think about it, it affects how you play.
Of course it does, yeah, for sure.
Now I've got you in a kind of contemplative modality. Right. Okay. So, because what I'm seeing is, and it's really coming along, hey, you're 132. Not bad. But there goes my pen. See, but if how would I describe this? Well, in fact, here. There is an important thing that's happening. Now, Richard Wilson really made a big deal out of it. And it led me in a direction that probably wasn't particularly helpful, in that I made too big a deal out of it, right? He would SQ for squeeze and RE for release. And he'd talk about that. Not just the up and the down, but squeeze and release. He'd talk about it a lot. We don't want to turn it into a thing, but it's an important aspect. So that when I go up, okay, see, look how little I'm moving, really.
Yeah.
Look, I see you kind of come with a lot of movement, and really, look how flat the stick looks.
Well, to be fair, I was doing that because you normally always you always told me, and maybe that's just so I can gain this muscle memory of, you know, really bending the wrist a lot and, you know, lifting really up and so. But, you know, obviously the faster it gets, you know, the more comfortable it is not to do like these massive throws, I suppose.
Well, what I'm trying to hip you to is how much, because if I'm going to feel a release, how much do I need to bend to feel the release? It's part of the gig. It's part of why we make upstrokes because we get a moment of relief. It, doesn't it? Isn't that relaxing? And then other direction. And now we're closed. And every time we bend for an upstroke, we get relaxed. There. You don't need to come up that much to feel this. There. And then what happens when it goes this way? See? Isn't this what happens?
Mm-hmm.
Let me see that again. Right, now you can throw. Go doing something with your elbow. That's all it is. There's that little bend. Fingers relax, and then they come towards the palm on the way down. Open. Cool. Go on. Close. Open. Nope, just turn towards the surface. Really all I'm doing, right? Release, squeeze. And Richard Wilson would say, you only squeeze what you released. There's a relationship. Right? You only squeeze what you release. Okay. So go ahead, put the metronome back on at 132. And consider that.
But then, then there is the wrist.
What's that now?
There is the wrist, and there is the opening of the fingers.
Well, I'm trying to follow exactly what you're intending to.
Can you hear me, Kevin?
I can.
Yeah.
But I'm not trying to.
Sure. I was saying there's the bend of the wrist.
The bend of the wrist. Uh-huh.
But then there's also the opening of the fingers.
Okay. Just do this with me. Just no sticking. Come in this, not up here, here. Parallel to the floor. And just bend your wrist forward. There. Okay, and then come back. Okay, now that's a bend that is occurring from parallel. There's another way to bend. You can go to the video that I have of Richard Wilson. Richard Martinez pointed it out to me. He said, you see, he's doing it two different ways. So you should watch that video. There's only 2 videos of it.
I've watched them, yeah.
I know you've seen them, but he said, Kevin, you're not going to feel the stick laying in your hand, because I was doing stuff. Good old Kevin doing all kinds of unnecessary stuff. He says, you're not going to feel the weight of the stick laying in your hand until you start, and he demonstrates it. Now, stay with me, Ralph. So you demonstrated it to yourself, just bending forward, which is cool, because we're about to get into that as well. Okay, but what about the idea of bending with a fixed point in the universe, as Richard Martinez likes to call it? Dick would say, you're just leaving the bead down, right? You go up and you leave the bead down longer than you think. No stick in hand, no stick. Okay, now we're back to this position. Here, copy me. Nice and flat, don't hold it up at all. Keep this forearm flat with the floor. Okay, now don't do it quite yet. Instead of just bending forward and feeling the opening and closing, now I want you to move around a fixed point in the universe and go up. Same thing will happen. No, here's your fit. It's like your fingertips are the bead of the stick now. There. See, fingers opened, come back down. They closed. See, you're now going to squeeze what you released. They open that much, they're going to close that much. Dig? Now, if you go to make a little throw, demonstrate with no stick in your hand in this position, what does a little throw look like? What does a throw look like? Not quite, because wouldn't this wouldn't the hand that is mimicking holding a stick or would be holding a stick, don't we turn cock towards the ceiling? Would Murray Spivak say, now you cock your wrist to the ceiling, right? He'd say, first you pronate. Murray would use the word, don't overdo it. It's just, you just want to feel the release. That's all. And then the hand is going to come away from your fixed point as you come down. You're going to get a little flick there. Don't come up so much. You're really trying to feel something. Yeah, that's all you need. There, you're released. Now you're closed. And you flicked. And the energy went shooting out towards the bead.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Now, put a stick in your hand and try that. Okay, so now the beat of the stick is akin to being what you just experienced as with your fingertips. Okay. Yeah, there's. Almost. Cock a little more. You need to turn. There you go. So we get See, I'm cocking a little more than you, right? Not coming up very much. And then I'm getting the closure of what I release. There you go.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
You don't need to move quite as much. Now go ahead and put the metronome back on. Put the metronome at, let's just put it at 120. Okay, so that's what we're looking. We're looking. You want to feel it. You want to connect the feelings with the mind, right? And recognize what's happening instead of playing any old way. Okay, so it's better. So now you're up to 132. Okay, it's pretty cool. Now let's move on to we were looking at the single and double Ratamacue.
Yep.
Let's take a look at the single Ratamacue.
Sure.
And I'm pretty sure I had you up to about 52. So go ahead and put the metronome on 52. Let's see what it looks like.
So. Oh yeah.
See, here it is again. Now we have both of the releases. Now we have both of the releases that we were discussing, or both of the opening and closing of the fingers as motivated from the wrist, happening all in one stroke.
Good.
Are you aware of where that's occurring? Right? Because remember, we have this, Raph.
Well, I think it's the upstroke, isn't it? I mean, yeah. So this one.
So, but there's also the other opening and closing, isn't there? Remember this one where you didn't have a fixed point? You just went like this, And then we had to do this. Or this. Both are happening here, aren't they? Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, the first left. Look. Isn't it? And then it does the exponent in the universe thing. And you're going to feel your fingers opening for this, for the appoggiatura, and then you'll feel a release and a squeeze here too. I'm just doing it one way. Just do it one way. Okay, you feel you're open there for the doubles, aren't you?
Absolutely.
Okay, and then for that little up, there's a tiny little up the hand, and then it closes, and it helps you to stop the bead low, and you're getting this kind of motion. You don't need to move very much, do you? Look how flat you are. Right? See that? There's a certain quality to it. If we just did it, what would it be like if we just did it this way? You can play it this way. Just go one way again now in the other direction. Open, open, close, open, open, close. It's tiny though, so you don't want to make it. I don't want to have you start to exaggerate and do all kinds of weird stuff, but it's happening. Go the other way.
Yeah, I understand that one can overdo it. I get it. Yeah.
Start right and just go in the other direction over and over. But start right. No, start right. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's not right. The other right.
I'm like the doctor that does the amputation and gets the wrong leg. You know. Not okay. Right. Now go both ways. So really all that's happening. Put the metronome up to 60. Put it to 72. Let's see what it looks like there. Okay, so we have these muscles, you see, that you're beginning to learn, and they're going to work for all the strokes. It's just a matter of how do you put them together. And Murray organized the strokes so that it really makes sense. Oh yeah, now all I have to do is just add this. Or now I'm going to do this here, as opposed to not doing this here on this other stroke. Well, I'm just adding one note. Oh yeah, right. It's a series of it's combining the 7 basic strokes, right? Okay, so now the double Ratamacue. Go ahead, put the metronome back down to 52. Right, and as we've discussed, there are different ways to play this. Right now, I just want the throw at the end. See, I'm only putting the accent at the end. Just for fun, you see, because the gig is, once you decide on the closeness of the notes in the appoggiatura relative to the chord note, you want to maintain it. You want to keep it the same in both hands, which you're doing. Not bad. Can you open it up at all? Not that you have to, but can you? Can you give me a little more space in between those 2 notes?
Okay, absolutely.
So that I know you're not crushing everything. I know you're not too tight. Yeah, I'm getting yes. It can be, yep, but we want that. Can you do that? Okay, now. Let's see. Where would that be? Da, 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 da. So if the metronome was a quarter note, rap, 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 da da, rap, rap, da da, da da, da da, da da, rap, da da. So put the metronome on it for you. Let's just now I'm going to challenge you by slowing it down.
It's okay.
Right? Da da ba, da da ba, da da ba. It can be. Yep. Yep. Rup, can be good. Hear the difference? Now, can you play it more open? Da da ba da da ba da da da. Uh-huh. So it really feels as though what's happening is all you're doing is turning more quickly to play the appoggiatura faster. Try it. If you turn more slowly,
indeed, now I've noticed that for sure.
You will get.
So which means essentially I actually have to start the appoggiatura a bit before to have time to kind of.
Okay, now go ahead and play it. Now play it the other way. Ra ra da da da. Now close it up. Yeah, see? You turn a little faster. Ra. Now open it up. Play it the other way. Turn more slowly. You don't have to do a bunch of stuff. It's all in the wrist.
Yeah.
Okay? Okay, so good. So wanted to be on the same page with regards to that.
But there's no right or wrong, correct? It's just what you pick, I suppose, right?
Right, or what the conductor is requesting.
All right.
What the rest of the drum line is doing. You know, there are all kinds of factors. You know? Okay? So, let's take a look at the triple Ratamacue. Okay, now you're at 40.
This feels more like the single one, isn't it?
Now we're in 2. Put the metronome at 60.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're playing this to a quarter note. This point now, notice I think it's subtle, but you're right, is a little more open than for the appoggiaturas than your left. Up to I put it up to 72. Go ahead and put it up to 80. Very relaxed. It's very look how relaxed it is. See, I'm not getting that. It's not very fast, not really. Okay, so you just want to relax into it, right? All we're doing is we're doing that little turn where you get two notes, and there's a relaxation in the fingers, right? And the stick is rebounding with the fingers, or the fingers are rebounding with the stick, right? They're nice and relaxed and flexible, right? And that's all we're doing. And then we make that little throw. And it's nice and relaxed. Right? Try again. Give me a right profile so that I see the right side of your face. Yeah.
Like this?
Yeah.
Here comes the scrutiny.
Go ahead. Let me take a look at it.
Dick Crabb. Dick Crabb.
Yeah, right. What I'm worried about is that I'm seeing a little bit of arm involved.
I know.
Is there? Because when I do it, my wrist actually goes up a little. Tiny. Anything. It's hardly moving, right?
No, but it is moving a little bit. I saw in my previous video.
See, what we don't want is we don't want to get it. We don't want to get it this way.
Yeah, you
want to get see? There's a little motion. It's just a reaction. I don't want to make a big deal out of it. See, you don't want to make a big deal about anything, or you'll end up like me, turning the directive into the technique.
That's what I tend to do. I'm trying to learn not to make the same mistake. But
okay. See what happens? Just there's some kind of tiny bit of flexibility in there. It's certainly not doing this, Raph. It's not doing this.
So, 100%.
That. So we can do it. We can do it that way, but it's not what we're trying to do. It's not the technique that we're not playing crescendo strokes, which goes into forearms and then arms and shoulders. That's not what we're doing. It's wrists. If you just do this, see how there's this happening.
Yeah, here as well. Here's the same.
Yeah, like that. It's not this.
Yeah, 100%.
Where you won't get this. So this is about your top speed in terms of being played so that it's essentially wrist, because it's just on the cusp of becoming. That's what I was noticing. I noticed a certain level of tightness that we don't want, right?
Yeah, I know.
So, where were we at the very end? What did I have you up to? 80?
80, yeah.
Okay, put it down to 72 again, and let's just take one more look at it there. That's part of why, perhaps, watch, that's part of why it seems as though your repositories are consistently very closed, right? And remember what Murray Spivak would say. He'd say rebounds on doubles, rebounds, there is an intersecting area where the rebounds can be played not as rebounds, but as wrist, right? But at a certain point, it's too slow for rebound, and it turns into wrist. And at a certain point, it's too fast for wrist, and it becomes rebound. Okay, now, the way we would be able to traverse kind of, how would you say, we're in a sense masking the transparency, right? So that we can get okay, how am I doing that? See? You know, it might be a little premature, but I'll do this with you because it seems to be appropriate in terms of what I'm seeing and what we're working on. So dot 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 dot. Well, it's like a stick control thing where metronome is a half note. Or, oh no, dot, 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 yeah, so it'd be like you're playing 16th notes. Dot, dot, we can think of it that way. It doesn't matter. I want you at that speed, okay? So if this is a quarter note, you're playing 16th notes. Go ahead and play singles at 16th notes. And the metronome is 42. Sorry, my fault. I don't want singles. I want doubles on the wrist. Okay. You play those as rebound doubles.
It's not.
Right. You're busted. You see, you don't have the control yet. All right. I know.
Wait a second. I want to give it another shot. I think it's fair that I give it another shot. Go on, then.
Give you another shot.
Something as simple as this.
Okay. All right. So this is something that we will, because we're out of time now. This is something that we're going to discuss at the next lesson. In other words, I'm kind of taking you into stick control slightly prematurely, you know, but maybe, hey, you know, you're Franco.
Exactly.
Not every student is the same. Okay. All right. So you see, yeah. Well, what happens is, right? There's a certain speed where you can just feel. Ooh, wrist, and then it's rebound, wrist. It's almost, gets to a certain speed where it's just too fast. You see, we don't, now that if we're playing doubles, we really have to be aware. They have to sound even, and we can't get away with it. They have to, both notes have to be open enough, and as we, believe it or not, in a sense, playing doubles more slowly becomes an interesting challenge. And look,
Stops, right?
right? And I can still play roll strokes. And look how bouncy. Look how bouncy the thing becomes. And then as you speed it up, it's still very bouncy. Okay? So that's where this is headed. Okay? And we're going to open you up, so to speak, so that not bad, pretty good. Everything's moving in the right direction, but we just don't want to crush things when that's not what we're requesting from ourselves, right? If you're asking yourself to play nice open doubles at 42 and you can't, that's because there's just some lack of understanding, but it's all going to be based on what you already know, so it's going to be easy for you. All right, and you'll have something to look forward to. And next week's Christmas gift. Okay? Very good job, Raph. I'm going to turn off the recording.